Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about tonight is the breaking news that Kyrsten Sinema, centrist Democrat, moved into independent, is now thrown in the towel, and she will not even be competing for Senate at the end of this year. Now, that has so many ramifications for her seat, for the Democrats in the Senate, to the left overall. What we're about to walk through is the cutting edge of stuff that is happening in the U.S. Senate alone, and it is worth your time because one of the authors of the gun control bill that we deal with, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, is out the door. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. All right, people, listen. This is a really massive deal because if you'll recall, Kyrsten Sinema moved into the independent category about a year ago because the Democrats essentially kicked her out because she was resisting the leftward urges of the Democrat left. All right. Now, keep in mind, as we're talking about Kyrsten Sinema, we're also going to talk about some other figures: Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, Manchin. All these names have something in common. We're about to break it down, but I'm telling you, the left is moving to the left even further and farther and faster, and the right is being stationary. Check this out. This is a really big piece to understand what's happening.
With support of just 15 to 25%, losing to Gallego and Kerry Lake. Now, of course, it was Sinema who was on the front lines of pushing for that bipartisan border package here over the last several months. And that was, to our understanding, going to potentially be a key indicator of whether she would seek re-election or not. In this 3-minute video posted online by Sinema, it is quite telling, her words. I just want to read you part of it. She says, despite modernizing our infrastructure, ensuring clean water, delivering good jobs and safer communities, Americans still choose to retreat farther to their partisan corners. These solutions are considered failures because they are too much or not enough. It's all or nothing. Compromise is a dirty word. I believe in my approach, but it's not what Americans want right now.
All right, so even she said it in her "I'm leaving" address. Compromise is a dirty word. Here's the dirty little secret about what they didn't just tell you, okay? Kyrsten Sinema and Manchin were right in the middle politically, right? They were the centrist Democrats. Now, Joe Manchin wouldn't take away ARs. He eventually got to that point where it got a little rougher, so he lurched to the left a little bit. Kyrsten Sinema, originally, but a little bit less than, say, a Warren, right? So they're both considered centrist Democrats. Sinema was the one who was responsible for bringing us the negotiation between Chris Murphy, Tom Tillis in North Carolina, John Cornyn, that Safer Communities Act, that gun control bill. Yet she's one of the main negotiators. She's the glue that can bridge from the left to the right. Manchin was a very similar person. To the left, ostracized him, progressives iced him. Then you had Mitt Romney and Mitch McConnell. Now, this is interesting because the common thread here is not Sinema and Manchin are moving to the left, and so not far enough left, they're out, while Mitt Romney and Mitch McConnell are moving further to the right. That never happened. In fact, you would argue that they were actually moving more towards the center and to the left. The entire pressure of everyone moving to the left is being resisted by the stationary force of the Republican electorate. Understand, this is not the old-timers. This is not the middle leaving. What you're seeing right now is a fever pitch of the left moving so far to the left, they're losing the ability to have their negotiators in the middle. The centrist, that's the people that negotiate all the gun control bills. When you bring it right back down to our world, those are the same people that can bring Chris Murphy and John Cornyn into a room, Tom Tillis into a room, and they come out with some monstrosity from Jekyll Island type style thing like the Safer Communities Act from the Senate. That's who they're losing because they're going too far to the left. Now, let me show you. I got some more clips for you, but this is really key to understand. There's a momentum shift that is happening beyond just Sinema's out because she was losing. Check this out.
Now, of course, Sinema was on the front lines, Chris, of helping pass the CHIPS Act for semiconductor manufacturing. She was on the front lines for passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the bipartisan piece of gun safety legislation, and she led the charge to pass the Respect for Marriage Act.
more evidence, and this is all coming from MSNBC, by the way, that she was right in the middle, and she was the one doing all of the heavy lifting in between the Republicans and the Democrats, isolating herself in the middle. Now, what she did by moving into the independent category in Arizona was she got into a position where the far left would not support her, and they put a target on her back. Same thing with Manchin, and they both mysteriously quit this year. You have the same thing with Mitt Romney, who was lurching to the left, Mitch McConnell lurching to the left. Everyone who's either lurching to the left for the Republicans or not going far enough left for the Democrats is leaving. This is a theme. This is not small potatoes. Understand, what you're seeing here is a solidification, even more so in the right and the left. Because if you lose the Democrat negotiators right in the middle, there is no compromise. As she even said, we want all the guns. We want all the guns or nothing. We aren't going to harden schools. We're not going to protect children. We're not going to pass safety funding. Nothing. Guns or nothing. And you have blood on your hands. That's what you're going to get from the left. And now the right is just going to continue to be stalwart and not move. The right is going to say the left is infringing on the gun rights, which they are. And then the left is going to say, well, the right's not moving. They don't care. They have blood on their hands. That's what's going to happen. They've lost the middle. Now, this is the other interesting part. When you lose the middle like this, it shifts one way or the other, and that's when the pendulum shift happens. The people in the middle are frustrated, and they're getting out of the game. So now you're going to either have right or left. There is no longer going to be this wishy-washy Joe Lieberman style going forward, because you're going to have solidified positions of power, whether it's in Arizona or whether it's in West Virginia. Now, here's the other thing here. Kari Lake might flip this seat. Joe Manchin, his seat's going to get flipped red. They might lose in Montana through Joe Tester. I'm telling you, something is happening, and it is bigger than the blonde-haired lady Kyrsten Sinema leaving. This is massive stuff that's happening, and you guys are living through history. I promise you that right now. One more clip. Let's wrap it.
Of course, she met the ire of a great many Democrats around the country, refusing to pass filibuster reform that would have allowed for the protection of abortion around the country and to codify Roe v. Wade. She, of course, refused to banish the filibuster for the purposes of passing voting rights reforms, much to the chagrin of many Democrats, including Ruben Gallego, who was led to announce his own bid against her. But as a result, Kyrsten Sinema, who now, along with Joe Manchin, will not be returning to the U.S. Senate in 2025. Those were the two Democrats who were on the front lines of actually negotiating with Republicans up on Capitol Hill. And
so do you know, again, the theme here? Even MSNBC is saying it. They're the two Democrats who were actually responsible for negotiation. Understand, the left, the progressives, are targeting those that did not get rid of the filibuster or filibuster reform, as they just said on MSNBC, because it would come back to bite them. Sinema said no, and Manchin said no. There were even rumors going around that both were going to switch to the Republicans because the left was furious at those two for not going with filibuster reform when Chuck Schumer floated the idea. All of this stuff is massively important, and it comes right back to our gun rights, because that filibuster goes away and the Democrats have control. Well, they're going to get something passed, and we got to fight it in the courts because Biden would sign it. And then on the other end of that, if the Republicans had full control and there was no filibuster, you would hear the Democrats screeching at the top of their lungs about things like abortion, immigration, codifying any of this, that, and the other. I'm telling you, if they keep going down this road of a far left extremism, you're going to see this reflected in a benefit over time for gun rights, for immigration. Basically what I'm saying here, they've gotten rid of the middle. They have excised the variables, and now it's going to get to a point where there is one or the other has full power. That is a really interesting place, but it's moving forward beyond the stalemate in the middle, bipartisan. We might work, we might not work. Something is happening, and that's what this video is about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.